afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Fatima, and I'm very happy to have you all joining us for today's session. Today's session is titled MENA DDoS Landscape, from Emerging Threats to Protection Strategies. Today's discussion is especially relevant as organizations across the Middle East and globally continues to experience a growing number of cyber threats targeting their online infrastructure. So these attacks are becoming more sophisticated, faster, and even part of a larger campaign, cyber campaigns targeting critical services and digital platforms. And that's exactly why we are hosting this session today to help organizations understand how the DDoS threat landscape evolving, what trends we're seeing in the MENA region, and what practical strategies organizations can implement to protect their infrastructure. Before we begin, just a quick housekeeping note. This webinar will run for approximately 30 to 40 minutes, including a short Q&A session at the end. So please feel free to submit your questions through the chat during the presentation, and we will address it after. Without further ado, I would like, and it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. We are joined by Kirill Sorokin, who is Senior Sales Manager at StormWall. StormWall is an international cybersecurity company specializing in DDoS protection solutions for websites, networks, servers, and IT infrastructures of all sizes. With more than 12 years of experience in the field and over 1,200 active clients worldwide, StormWall focuses exclusively on defending organizations against modern DDoS threats and helping them maintain service availability and business continuity. So, Kirill, welcome and thank you so much for this session. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks, Fatima. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Hi, everyone. Yes, as Fatima lovely introduced me, I am indeed Kirill Sorokin, and I'm indeed a Senior Sales Manager at StormWall. So thank you, everyone, for joining today. And today we're going to be talking about DDoS attacks, especially in the MENA region, and more importantly, how to stay online when attackers try to do the opposite, basically, and what StormWall can bring to the table. And I'll try to keep it as practical as possible, not too technical. I promise that. So before we do that, let me share the screen with you real quick. So that would be more of a visual for you. So that would be much easier and convenient way to understand what I'm gonna tell you today. So before we start, before we dive, actually, let's think on the terminology just a little bit. Here's a quick look at where DDoS attacks hit in the OCI model. They can affect everything, basically, from the network infrastructure to applications. And DDoS attacks, what it does, basically overwhelms the system with fake requests with traffic. And while DDoS protection is all about detecting, filtering that noise before it reaches you. And yes, as you can see here, launching an attack can cost up to $0. So it's really, really cheap today. But fixing the damage, that part is never free and not cheap, trust me. And if we take a look at this particular slide and quickly recap why DDoS attack is such a serious threat worldwide, we can see that it carries massive risks. First of all, financial risks, where we have lost revenue, broken SLAs, customer churn, reputation, outages that makes headlines, but unfortunately for all the wrong reasons. SEO risks, search rankings drops fast when the site basically goes offline. And last but not least, the security risks, because DDoS is often the smokescreen for something way worse than just a simple DDoS. So yeah, attacks might be cheap, but the consequences of those definitely are not. And DDoS can impact organizations in basically two major ways, I would say. The first one would be the websites. They become slow or fully unreachable, then followed by lost customers, revenue, trust, weakened SEO, user experience, and of course, higher risks of follow-up attacks. And the second major way would be the network. The network, the infrastructure where attack will overload the routers, links, the core nodes, the large-scale outages, disrupted voice, followed by that data, internet connectivity at whole, SLA penalties and mass customer complaints. That's what they will get, and cascading failures across multiple systems. So, in other words, whether you're protecting a website or a national network, downtime is really expecting for all of those. So now, as promised, let's look at the big picture and at the meta specifically in 2025. For example, we see actually 138% year-over-year growth in DDoS attacks. And StormWall actually mitigated nearly 3 million attacks, with peak reaching 1.4 terabits here in the UAE, actually. And in early 2025, all of those attacks was mostly driven by geopolitics, while the second half of the year clearly shifted towards financially motivated attacks. Well, the reasons are always different, but here we are with almost 150% growth in the attacks. And not only the amount of the attacks is rising, but also attacks are also getting smarter. So multi-vector attacks now make up over a third of incidents. Carpet bombing, bombing, and botnet sizes are growing really fast, as you can see. In short, attackers test defenses continuously and strike when they see the gaps in those defenses. So that is a really dangerous situation that we live right now in the cybersecurity landscape. And here you can see some of the major botnets that are already taking place worldwide and actually attacking some of the industries and the companies. And if we actually take a look at the industry specifically, we see that the industries with the biggest, highest year-over-year growth is the finance, retail, and entertainment. 31% attacks are accounted for the UDP flood, with 40% of the attacks. Those are the HTTP growth in the entertainment and retail, which makes sense that the attackers don't want us, simple users, don't have a good time attacking some of the entertainment that we like, some platforms that we use, which is a bit of a sad situation for users. And here you can see attacks by the vertical with a pie chart where finance is leading, followed by entertainment, retail, telecommunication, government. Basically, almost every other industry is present there. It's just a matter of how hard they're getting hit. And if here we look at the specific different things we drop it in specific regions, them stable and actually queen and on. But nonetheless, as you can see, overall, the attacks in the region itself, they are still growing every single day. And some of the particular regions such as Saudi, they see a bit of a drop for now. But last year, the situation was different. It was a really big rise in those attacks. And this statistic is 2025. We'll see what 2026 is going to bring to the table. So what to prepare in 2026 specifically? And as we understand, DDoS will increasingly be a part of hybrid attacks, and it will be combined with a ransomware or data breaches. That's a definite one. And attack windows will shrink to minutes, we believe. Automation will be mandatory. That's a no-brainer. And availability, not bandwidth, will be the main target, as we already can see, because attackers try to hit at something that actually customers actually use, the users actually use, the websites, web applications, or just some simple services. That will be the main target, because there you have yourself some leverages to discuss with the ones that you attack. So here's a quick example of, so you would have a better understanding if you don't have it as for now, what an unmitigated attack look like within the 50 minutes time frame. So when the first comes the recurrent probing, That is usually the first step where attackers map the critical systems. Then it's followed by massive L3, L4 flood, followed by API endpoint fails, then DNS and email clogged, followed by that gateway overloads, routers get saturated by minute 12, and by the minute 15, you already have yourself a full blackout of the system. And yeah, all it takes is actually 15 minutes to bring down a nationwide services. And of course, if protection isn't in place or it's not properly set up. Is it scary? Yeah. But is it preventable? Absolutely. So, yeah, Storm is already here, not only worldwide, basically, specifically MENA. So the question is, are you ready for it, basically? And to give yourself a little test, are you ready? So let's have this basically the checklist, quick checklist for understanding how prepared are you. So what you need to know is, first of all, you have to understand your traffic patterns. The second, you have to build redundancy. That is an absolutely necessary thing today. Detect attacks early, which is always a good thing because sometimes it might be too late to react or even to do anything. It's just a matter of getting everything back up and not preventing. Work with security experts, also really, really major point. And of course, test your defenses regularly. You have to know that your systems are up to date. You have to know that you still will be able to withstand anything that the attackers might have for you. And most importantly, don't rely just on basic ISP protection. It's like, I don't know, blocking the front door but leaving all the windows open. There are still some places that they can sneak in. And what actually followed by that, defines a modern anti-DDoS service. So if you are using something that you compare to it right now, or if you are thinking about using someone, so here are the must-haves that a modern service should have. First off, L3, L7 coverage, followed by the antibot to prevent any all malicious activity, a vendor-managed configurations, real-time dashboard, unlimited flexibility, scalability, because the services are growing, the attacks are growing, everything is growing. So solution have to be scalable. Local point of presence, of course, for faster mitigations and basically regional compliance. And of course, 24/7 fast support. That is something that everybody should have. And anything less, trust me, the customers will definitely feel it, especially during the modern volumetric attacks. So actually, let's take a look on what types of solutions out there in the market. As you can see on the slide, there are particularly three main, I would say, on-prem, ISPs, and cloud solutions. So if you look at the specific of those, we can differentiate, well, let's take a three, for example. So on-prem solutions, they're pretty expensive. They unfortunately slow to deploy, and the L7 protection that they have is really, really limited, since their own main goal in the beginning was not really L7. Then we look into ISP-based. Yeah, it's pretty fast. It's pretty affordable. You can even say it's cheap sometimes, but unfortunately, it's not really. It's weak against complex attacks. It might be good for something that is not really big, something that is not really relevant. But if there's something slightly more than just a small attack, there could be some problems with it. And then comes the cloud solution. Cloud solution provides the fast deployment, also provides strong L3, L4 protection, all of that combined. It is scalable solution according to the needs of the customers. It's disaster proof. And the great thing is that has the low latency with global points of presence. And actually, that is those cloud solutions. This is where the market is moving. So, and here you can see some of the information, a bit about ourselves as a StormWall. So we are providers, we're a cybersecurity company with a straight focus on DDoS protection, and we do provide a cloud-based solution. We've been in the market for 12 years already, and We have over 1,200 active customers and over 130 employees, which are basically the dedicated DDoS professionals, including the support team, the network team, the developers team that are dedicate their all they have into the fighting of the DDoS attacks and making sure that the solutions that we have, since we provide our own solution, we do not copy or resell any third-party solution on the market. We're making sure that our solution not only reliable and good, but it's also up to date. Everything is moving crazy fast. We have to keep up with that, and we are making sure constantly that we're doing that. And here you can see some of the companies that we are having the pleasure to work with. And here you can actually see a little bit of a deeper comparison between the cloud solutions and the ISP based, especially cloud solution regarding StormWall. So here you can see few of the things are pretty obvious. Of course, it's the expertise, since when you choose the vendor that's exclusively do DDoS protection, apart from something that is not really the main job, it's just like a side hustle, or just the main job of, for example, the ISPs or the connectivity. The filtering model, the filtering capabilities of the system are, of course, really different, because it protection the all layers, and there the ISP has some of the protection on some layers and not that really effective. Everything is tailored for specific needs of the customer, so it's really adaptable. It's not just a set of tools, it's a fully managed service, and it varies, depends on what type of infrastructure and services the customer have. And of course, all the other really necessary things, and as you can see, few of them are, not few of them, but mostly all of them are in the must-have 2026 checklist, as you can see here. Accountability, SLA, scalability, incident response. So all of that things are really crucial in today's modern world. So with what we see in today, how attacks are developing, how they are keep on going across all the region, especially in the MENA, it is crucial for the services, especially business critical services, to have a solid, dedicated vendor to protect their infrastructure, web application, whatever it is. So basically, it's StormWall is beyond what ISP can offer, and that is something that customers should have when they are caring about staying online, and the businesses specifically. And here you can see some of the global filtering network that we have. So those are the current point of presence that we have globally, strategically located. All of those scribing centers are actually really powerful and help us to cope with the attacks closer to the origin. And as you can see, the filtering capacity is over 5 terabits per second. And the great thing is that we are present locally in the MENA region. We have a point of presence here in Dubai, in Fujairah, which is a great thing, since, yeah, we do comply with the local regulations. And of course, it's the latency, the RTT, everything is included. Great to have the local point of presence for the sake and safe of the local customers. And here is the product suite that StormWall has. As I said before, we do only the DDoS protection. We do not focus on anything else. So those are the three main products that we do. The first one is StormWall for Web, which is a great protection, the L7 layer protection for retail, media, e-commerce, basically any company that has online presence with a website or web application. It comes with an additional anti-WAF feature that is reliable protection against the malicious bot attacks. And if necessary, we also can provide an enterprise-grade web application firewall, which is relevant for the customers that are dealing with hacker attacks, such as SQL injections, promo code abuse, password cracking, stuff like that. Now we're moving for StormWall for Network, which is the protection for, as advertised, for networks, for infrastructures, works great for ISPs, telecoms, data centers, basically any company that has AS number, has infrastructure, and need protection. Really solid L3, L4, L5 protection, great service, great dashboard, everything in the package. And last but not least, StormWall for Servers, which is basically similar to StormWall for Networks. However, it is only for single servers. So for example, if sometimes customers don't really have particular infrastructure such as AS number. So we can provide protection for those single services, which is no matter what it is, online gaming, email, IP telephony, whatever it could be, we can provide the same L3 for protection, really mature solution for those. So just a little bit of a details on how the service is working, not too technical. So basically StormWall for web working as a proxy. When we provide an IP address for the customer, they change that in an A record, and then we start filtering all the traffic that's coming. So basically that's really great solution. And we provide it with the SSL support included. So basically if customers have it their own certificate, or they can issue one for free from Let's Encrypt within an hour. And a great thing is that the protection is multi-layered. So since we provide a protection from our cloud, which is already L3, L5 protected, then we have L7 on top of that, and then web application firewall additionally if necessary. And of course, there are a lot of industries that can benefit from it. Government, retail, e-commerce. You can see the risk and challenges that might face and the solutions that will bring them. We already briefly discussed basically all the potential risks that the customers have, but you can just think of it as any particular website, whatever it might be. If it is down, if it's unavailable, there are some losses, financial, reputational, whatever it is. So, and those are the challenges that those particular industries might face, such as service outages, financial losses, revenue losses, whatever it is. What Storm will bring to the table is we are easing those pains for the customers. We ensuring that all of those risks and challenges are being handled in the right way, and that those risks and challenges simply transform into covered points with our protection. And with this particular L7 protection, it's basically what you see is what you get as advertised. Well-rounded L3, L7 protection. Websites load quickly, SEO metrics remain unaffected. Customers won't even notice, especially users won't even notice that attack is happening. So it's really fast operating, and of course with round-the-clock availability and support if necessary. So when it comes to the network, also not too technically, but still. So with the network protection, L3, L5 protection is done via BGP session and the prefix announcement towards StormWall side. It could be a GRE tunnel connection, it could be physical connection, cross-connect at the point of presence that we have, or IX, for example. So yeah, we establish the BGP session, we start the announcement, we accept the announcement of the prefixes from the customer, and we filter those this traffic. And we can either three modes available within the network. One is the always-on mode, where the customer is constantly sending us the traffic. We constantly filter the traffic, and yeah, everybody's happy. The second one is on demand, when the customers are doing that only in case of the attack. So, for example, it could be some routing issues or latency ones, when there's no cross-connect involved. So you can do that only in case of the attack, and then after that, drop the announcement, and so we come back to the original route. And the third one, the client-side DDoS sensor. So basically, if customers are having some sort of detecting solution or announcement, the software that can do the announcement automatically, we can help to integrate our solution to that specific setup of the sensor, so that all of that announcement on demand or whatever it is being done automatically. So that is the third option that we can help and assist our customers with. And of course, the benefit that industries are the usual suspects. Every business in every industry that has infrastructure that is really should be really protected. Telco operators, cloud and hosting providers, ISPs, all of that. So when the attack is happening on IPs, the internet unavailability, channel overloads, all of that risk and challenges that any infrastructure, specifically those in those industries, can face. And what we can do, of course, we can block all that noise, we can block the attack, we prevent the channel overloading, prevent the attacks on specific IPs. So making sure that if the most volumetric attack is happening, customers and the services are still maintained available. So no user complaints on their sites. So that's the main goal for us, to make it as seamless as possible. And last but not least, again, StormWall for service, which is basically the, again, as network, but for the specific service, single service. Unlimited number of ports, unlimited number of filtered traffic, and very, very effective L3, L4 protection that is being done via tunneling or hard proxy, depends on what operating system is there on the server. And here, yeah, you can see it's pretty obvious when there's no infrastructure involved. We're talking online, VPN service, email, IP telephony, and they all have some sort of issues such as packet loss, disconnections, traffic overloads, and that's what the StormWall comes in handy. We provide, so whether a client owns their infrastructure or rents it, sometimes it might be the case, StormWall adapts protection to fit the specific environment. Because in DDoS defense, there's no one size fits it all. It's all about layering, and layering it smart. So, and here you can see some of the case studies there for you. So that is the real world example. So as you can see, February 14 last year, a day meant that for love and flowers turned into a nightmare for one of the major e-wallet platforms. It was a salary payout day, actually, and attackers hit them with a 730 Gbps layer L7 flood. And it was combined with a ransom demand of 15 Bitcoins, which a lot of money in 2025. So the attack lasted 6 hours and 5 minutes, but the good news are StormWall mitigated it in real time. No downtime, no ransom paid, which is a great thing for the customer. But the key takeaway here is that the attackers know when to strike. They're watching your business cycles and actually hitting it where it hurts the most. So it's not really personal, don't get me wrong. It's just very, very calculated. The other case would be the carpet bombing in action. So a small ISP faced 1.5 terabit per second carpet bombing attack, hitting their entire subnet at once. It was powered actually by a compromised microtic routers from all over the world. And the peak load was over almost 1.3 billion packets per second. Again, the great thing, StormWall detected and mitigated in under 1 minute. The client experienced zero downtime and, trust me, plenty of relief. That is the second use case for you, case study for you. And great thing that we also provide for comes like a complementary, I would say, for all of that services that we provide is the client portal, one of the best in class. It is really crucial not only to have the protection, but also to have a transparent protection, to understand what is happening, what's going on, how can you influence it. So our portals provide the real-time analytics, the filtering rules, attack history, anti-bot panel, traffic insights, notifications, role management, PDF reports, all of that in real time, 24/7. So the service becomes really transparent. And again, it's not just the set of tools, it's the fully managed service. You can do everything right here. You don't need anything else. You just do all the settings here, all the communication with the team, all the monitoring on the graphic, and of course, everything in the portal, in the services, everything is available through API to integrate with the system and make it really, really easy and efficient to use. So yeah, you might wondering why StormWall, and you already heard a lot from me, so I'm going to keep it short and basically just briefly tell you why clients choose us. And of course, it's 20 years of DDoS expertise, the L3, L7 filtering against multi-vector attacks. We do full range, anti-DDoS, web application firewall, anti-bot. We do charge the customers only for the clean traffic. We deploy the protection that we have real fast, even if customers are already under attack. We also provide the protection without SSL decryption. That is also a great possibility for those customers that they want to have L7 protection but cannot really share SSL certificate. And the last but not least, I believe the thing that we're mostly proud of is the exceptional technical support team that we have. We support our customers with everything, and we have SLA, particularly in our plans. With some of them are 15 minutes response time, so you have a guarantee that your any request will be handled within 15 minutes time frame. So in other words, those are StormWall is a real people, real speed, and a real protection. So that will be it, guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Again, apologize for that little hiccup. So thank you for being patient with me. So, and yeah, as you can see here, if you'd like to see how our protection work in action, you can try StormWall for free for 30 days. Some little way of POC the solution. It's a great way to test your not only StormWall, but also how your network handles real traffic, minus, of course, the real attacks with StormWall. So, yeah, thank you guys again. I believe we're going to take a few minutes to answer any questions if we have some. Yeah, so feel free to drop them in the Q&A section if you haven't already. Since I already wrapped up, there won't be any more slides, so it's time for the questions. So yeah, please feel free to shoot. And also, if you might remember in the future, if you have any other questions after webinar, feel free to reach out again. So let's check the Q&A section. Yeah.
Sure. Yes. Thank you very much, Kirill, for sorry, let me just also. Yeah. Thank you very much, Kirill, for that very insightful presentation. Well, it is clear that DDoS landscape is evolving rapidly, and organizations need to rethink how they approach resilience and availability of their digital services, right? So as you just mentioned, we will now move on to the short Q&A session. And we already have few questions coming from the audience. I'll start with some that are relevant for today's session. From Amar Sahid, his question is, from your experience, which industries in the MENA region are currently the most targeted by DDoS attacks?
Yeah, basically, yeah, we've already covered that in the presentation. For some industries, it wasn't even they didn't even hear about what DDoS is. But it's 2026 already. Every industry is aware already. And yeah, as was mentioned in the presentation, finance, retail, entertainment, telecom, government, manufacturing, those are like top 5, top 6 industries. But the finance, yeah, with the biggest gap from the second place, which is entertainment. So entertainment, finance, telco, those are the industries.
Thank you so much. I hope Amar that's been addressed. Now we move on to the next question from Aiza. Her question is, for organizations that may not have a large cybersecurity team, what are the first practical steps that they should take to improve their DDoS readiness?
Well, to be frank, there are, of course, some of the things that not even a large cybersecurity team can perform, basically to maybe improve the acknowledgement on the services. But one of the things that, yeah, I've actually mentioned that in the checklist, the working with a cyber expert would definitely help. So the practical steps would be, of course, the understanding their true capabilities of the current service. So exactly what traffic patterns, again, what happens if the attack's really going to hit, and to basically analyze firstly the systems, how vulnerable the system is, and then try to find maybe a solution in place, which sometimes might be the case. But if the cybersecurity team is not really large and not really experienced enough to deal with the 2026, for example, attacks, let's call it that way, it's better to have some sort of additional help, either the cybersecurity professionals or just someone with experience that can give you some sort of hint. Yeah. So first up is, of course, analyzing what you have and what's might happen.
Thank you so much. I hope that satisfies your question, Aiza. Now we move on to more questions from the audience. One from Aksar Rahim. He's a DevOps engineer. Many organizations already rely on their ISP for basic DDoS protection. What are the limitations of ISP-based protection compared to dedicated DDoS mitigation solutions?
Yeah, already briefly covered that on the deck, but just to summarize, yeah, so ISP-based protection is, again, it's not currently focused on the protection itself. It's just a simple add-on. And when you get an add-on, you cannot hope that it's going to be 100% because ISP-based, the core focus is the connectivity, not security. The filtering that the ISP provides usually really basic at L3, L4. It's usually ones not really adaptable, not flexible. So you just kind of have this set of tools, or we have this setup. If it doesn't fit your particular infrastructure, there's basically nothing we can do. That's what usually ISPs provide. And of course, the delayed response because the support, especially support regarding the security incidents, not really their main focus again. Really hard to scale, no SLA for application level attacks they provide since there's no particular L7 protection implemented. And yeah, when the attack is well prepared, large scale, ISPs usually not really not going to handle that. And that's just not me saying that because I know that they lack of some things. It's just the experience that we've seen on the market, only from the not only from what we see, but also from the what customers are saying us, because we have a huge chunk of customers that are switching from ISP-based protection to us, StormWall. As soon as something big hits, then the ISP protection is not really working anymore. Yeah. So cheap and affordable doesn't always mean good. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that, but DDoS attacks today just proving that point.
Thank you very much for that, Kirill and Aksa. I hope that addresses your query. Now, moving on to the next question, we have two more. One is from Sana Syed. You mentioned that multi-vector attacks are becoming more common. Can you explain why attackers are shifting toward multi-vector strategies and how organizations should prepare for them? You've probably already mentioned some of this, but feel free to enlighten our audience once again.
Briefly, yes, but again, just a quick recap. Why they're shifting? It's pretty easy. When you want to shut down some specific service, whether the ransom or geopolitical reasons, whatever it might be, if you are going to hit at the same place every single time, eventually they're gonna protect that particular place, that particular layer of defense, and from that point, your attacks are not going to do any damage. Then you have to think about something else, and then you can, hey, what if I'm going to hit everything at the same time, or two things at a time, and then you see the success in that. I mean, I'm talking as an attacker right now. So yeah, so it's pretty obvious. You want to be the attack to be unexpected, and you want to cause as much chaos as you can. So that's the simple reason behind that. To be effective when we're talking about attacks and how you should prepare for them is to do the same. You have to be effective, but only in protection. That means proactive protection of all the layers. Make sure everything is protected, starting from L3 to L7, to make sure that whatever they have in mind, they're not going to have a success on it.
Thank you very much for enlightening us on that, Kirill. I actually went through the chats and I saw this one question from Mohammed Rehan. I just posted it on the Q&A. The question is, if a large-scale DDoS attack hits our public services right now, how confident are we that our infrastructure secured by StormWall can absorb the traffic and keep critical systems online?
Well, it's first of all, we have to try, and the great guarantee that we can provide is, first of all, the large database of the customers that we have. Over almost 1,500 of the customers are trusting us with their infrastructures, and we have multiple customers ranging from small landing pages to government level internet providers. Those are the companies that we trust. And if you want to be protected with StormWall, that's exactly why we provide the POC period for 30 days. Not just prove you hey, here's what we can do, test us or something, but to mainly integrate with the system. We want to see, especially we want you to understand if StormWall is a good fit. So we take that period to set up everything, specifically tailor the protection to your needs. So you said hit your public services right now. We want to make sure we know what the public services are to put the precise filtering and threshold specifically for those services. So the protection won't be just a protection, but protection is particularly adjusted and adapted to your services. So that way you can be 100% confident that if any attack hit your infrastructure, multi-vector, L7, whatever it is, StormWall will absorb all the traffic and keep all the critical systems online. So yeah, it's just a matter of testing, adjusting, and you can be confident 100% sure.
Thank you very much, Kirill. I hope, Rehan, that directs your query. And we're down to two more questions, which from Ira. Kakao, with attack windows becoming shorter but more intense, how important is automation in modern DDoS defense strategies?
It is really important. Also, something that I mentioned in something to be prepared in 2026, because human factor is always in place. And of course, if we're talking about some manual approach takes time. And sometimes it could be a minute, sometimes it could be 5, it could be 10. And 10, sometimes it could be already way too late. So automation is a key factor and the number one thing to be aware and to prepare, especially already now, because yeah, the windows are becoming shorter and they will only do that, and the attacks are going to be more intense. Since we already know probing is a thing, they just want to little by little will know what the weaknesses are, and they're just going to hit with a massive flood on that particular weakness. And if there's no automation on that, manual approach are going to be a burden at this point. So yeah, it's really, really important. Fatima, you muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Kirill. Yeah, another question and the last question for this session. How does the entity ensure that its network architecture and third-party service providers can absorb or mitigate volumetric DDoS attacks targeting public-facing services?
Well, basically by protecting it, by firstly testing how solution is working. Sometimes, for example, if customers are having a huge infrastructure, the huge customer base and all of that, it might be scary to just, let one provider just to, hey, we're going to have attack, please protect us and just hope that everything is going to be okay. Of course, it's understandable how it can be frustrating. But sometimes what we do with customers having those such doubts, we do provide POC, of course, and the POC can be not for the whole infrastructure. They can test on some of the minor subnets, so some particular part of this of the infrastructure that they are okay with. They can test the solution on that particular part of the infrastructure, on some subnets, on some IPs, to make sure everything is set up correctly, everything is working, build that confidence in the solution, and then switch the whole subnet to us and just simply see that everything is working the same way. It's just the scale of it is a bit bigger, not just with subnet, but the whole infrastructure already. So we can do that, step by step. We can scale the solution.
Well, yes, thank you so much, Kirill, and for the rest of the. Just give me.
Yeah, I can see actually one more question additionally dropped in. What is the maximum traffic volume that StormWall has successfully mitigated during the DDoS attack incident? The funny thing you mentioned, we actually did had an attack, the precedented attack 2 weeks ago, not that long ago, and the attack was over 3 terabits per second. So that was the massive attack that hit our customer and our network at the same time. We actually did a little post on the website about it because that was an unprecedented attack across the globe. And yeah, we successfully mitigated that. And but that was something new. So 3 terabits, that was pretty impressive. So 1 terabit is already not that impressive already. So 3 terabit, that was the biggest one so far.
Thank you so much, and that's very impressive. Well, it proves that the concept actually, the solution actually works, right? And congratulations for that, Kirill. Yes, so as I was saying earlier, thank you so much, Kirill, and thank you to everyone who's joined us today and participated in the discussion with StormWall. So as we may already know, that DDoS attacks are no longer just a technical nuisance. They are becoming a strategic threat to business continuity, customer trust, and digital operations. And as we heard today, the key resilience lies in proactive defense, layered protection strategies, and the ability to respond quickly to evolving attack patterns. If anyone would like to learn more about the solutions discussed today or explore how StormWall and CyberWaze can support your organizations, please feel free to reach out to us after the session. We will also be happy to share the presentations, additional resources with the attendees. And once again, Kirill, thank you so much for the very insightful and interesting presentation. Thank you again for your time, and we hope to see everyone in the future CyberWaze sessions. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Have a good day, guys. Have a rest.